Hello and welcome to LVS Perspectives, an infant and junior school perspective. Aren't we glad to be here today? Yeah. Well, Mrs. Izell just told a joke just before we came on there, so I'm surprised we're not all absolutely splitting our sides and falling off the chair at the moment. We won't tell you what the joke was, but if you want to email me afterwards, I can tell you what it was. Okay, so here we are at the start of a new term, and obviously this is a brand new academic year. We're a new team together. We're very much looking forward to it. There's been a lot of planning over the summer holidays.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you about what's going to happen this year, how we're going to do it, what our vision is moving forward as well. So I think I have my first slide here. So what we're looking at, what our vision is, inspiring independence, exceeding expectations, two of our big strap lines there, is that we're looking to have a traditional academic curriculum with values and expectations, but with an entrepreneurial twist. So there's not a lot of real difference there, but obviously we're going to be nailing down some of the things that we do, and we'll be showing you a model timetable, so that you'll see a little bit more maths, English and science in there, but obviously with the entrepreneurial twist. So we have that element of STEM, and making sure that we think outside the box and how all our subjects that we learn can link together, you know, for the future. We want to make sure we've got effective and efficient use of time for pupils and staff, and again you'll see that in the timetable. And we want now to embed the learning values and skills part of our culture, so not taught as distinct units of work, but how the learning values and skills are embedded into our curriculum and how you as parents can help as well this year moving forward. We want more academic rigour, we want to raise standards. So we do a good job at the moment, but we really want to get the children where they should be and where we want them to be, being in an independent school, so that they can move on to the next stage of their academic education. And of course, a love of learning, exploration and curiosity, because that's what it's all about. And we should all be lifelong learners. There's nothing better than learning right the way through, whatever age you are. And I think we all know that, don't we? Because
Definitely.
we have great CPD and some of the courses we're doing are amazing. We want high behaviour expectations, probably a little bit higher than what we've seen previously, and we want to see consistency of rewards and sanctions. And most of all, we're out to prove the progress and look at the outcomes for all our pupils to make sure they are absolutely outstanding. So moving on, and we want to live and breathe the aims of LVS Ascot. They should roll off our tongues. So to reflect on the past, to embrace the challenge of the future. So we learn by what we do and how we might move forward and make things better for the future. And obviously to be resilient, inquisitive and creative. The middle one, the happiest one, the best one, right in the middle, the X factor one, because if you look at it, it looks like an X if you were to put them all in the centre of the page, is to be happy and healthy, because everything from there should just follow. And we all need to live with integrity, empathy and humility. And we'll really focus on kindness, because kindness costs nothing but means absolutely everything, and it should be at the heart of everything we do. And last but not least, we need to be courageous, we need to be bold and definitely robust in everything we do, because that's what will make us the best school, the best young people, the best staff, the best school in the south of England.
Absolutely.
If not nationally. Okay, I'm bragging now, because that's what we are and what we will continue to be. I thought you might like to see, this is going to be appearing in our prospectus. And this is what we call sort of like our Wheel of Fortune. And there you will see some of the common words that are used in our learning values and skills. The 4 C's for learning are around the outside, but it also speaks the language of the round square. And we're still waiting to hear if we have been voted in by the UK members. I'll be chasing that this afternoon, because that's something then that we really can start getting our teeth into, as we've communicated to you in previous perspectives. I thought you'd like to see some of our results as well, because a lot of these children would have started in the infant and junior school, and especially in reception. And you can see with our GCSE results this year, there was an increase in the top grades. So despite there were being 100,000 less top grades in the UK, our top grades went up. An absolute stunning results there. For nearly all our children. So at the top there, 10 times grade 9 or equivalent. That included an A in further maths, our top pupil in year 11. That's absolutely outstanding, isn't it?
That's fantastic.
Unbelievable. And obviously we've left their names out for data protection. but you can see they were absolutely a stunning group of results as well. And the same with the A-level and BTEC results. Although the top grades were down nationally and down slightly at LVS, our actual pass rate went up 2% to 96% overall pass rate, which again is fabulous. And if you have a look at some of these results here, and some of these children have gone on to the most wonderful courses, and nearly all of our children have gone on to the most wonderful courses at university. And there is one young lady in there with an asterisk there who started with us in reception class, so she's been all the way through. I think that was absolutely wonderful. And here we are, Mrs. Izod and Mrs. McCrell, and this is what their responsibilities look like. So I'm going to let them explain. Right, so on the one side we have Mrs. McCrell first, and we'll explain what your roles and responsibilities are.
I've been revising.
Oh, yeah, you need to.
It's a long list.
It is a long list.
So I am going to be in charge of the wellbeing, the personal development. So that kind of incorporates all the behaviour, the rewards and the sanctions, the house system, the prefects. I am going to be looking at the co-curricular and the clubs with Mrs. Izod, and I am going to be looking after the junior diploma, which I will talk to you about a little bit later on.
And that list is actually exhaustive, isn't it? I mean, it's just quite a list and a half. And we're very lucky to have you, Mrs. McCrell.
Oh, thank you.
And you will see that you can put up some questions at any time during this presentation. Please put your questions in the chat. Or what I'll do is, if you don't want your name to appear on the screen in front of everybody, you can email me and I'll open up the email on my phone. So if you see me dash into my phone, it's not that I'm being naughty, but I'm actually checking to see if you've emailed me with any questions as well. Over to you, Mrs. Izod.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Izod, and I'm going to be in charge this year of the academic side of things, curriculum, reports, anything academic, and I'll be looking after EYFS as well, and Miss Mannering, who's taken over as head of EYFS from me this year.
Another big job. And
Yes.
we're actually all looking forward to working with each other as well
We are.
this year.
Definitely.
Very exciting.
Very good. Okay, so over to you, Mrs. Izod.
So as Mrs. Cunniff's already said, we are looking to get more academic rigour and less movement around to maximise the learning time in junior school, particularly this year. So when the timetables come home on Thursday, they are going to look a little bit different to what you may have seen in previous years. The changes are mostly in Key Stage 2, so our years 3 to 6. On the slide you can see there is one of our Year 6 classes shown on the slide there. So you'll see there on a Thursday morning we've blocked out a double lesson and we're combining the PE and games into one session. So Mr. Lewin and the PE department will be providing a carousel of the PE curriculum alongside the sport curriculum. So they'll be doing a group like doing tennis or badminton alongside the chosen sports for the term, this term being hockey or football. The groups will be fluid but mainly based around if they've chosen to play hockey or football over the term. They're also going to be using the changing rooms for changing, surprisingly enough, before and after the lesson. So we're going to expect all our children to come into school wearing their uniform and blazer in Key Stage 2 from next week. And they will change and change back after the lesson. Again, not in the classroom, so maximising the learning time and the time we have in our timetables. The only exception will be to that if they are doing basketball or cross country first thing in the morning, as they Year 5 and 6 will go straight into their PE lesson at 9 o'clock. You'll see as well there's an extra science lesson timetabled in, particularly in Years 5 and 6 again, and we're using a new scheme to base our planning on, provided by White Rose Education. It's the rebrand of White Rose Maths, and the science scheme kind of follows the same system on the mastery approach, looking really embedding those working scientifically skills and also bringing in the sustainability, which is fantastic, across right from Year 1. The Year 5 and 6 won't be timetabled each week in the laboratories, but they'll be using them as and when is appropriate to the unit of work they're working on. So they will go over there if that is the best environment for them to be in and the equipment they need is in that environment. Spellings, you'll notice across the board, right across the morning there, every day of the week. We've reception to Year 2 have shown great success in the last couple of years with our Sounds Right phonics programme, and all the staff in EYFS and Key Stage 1 have been trained on the full 4-day training course to deliver these specialist lessons. We've also invested in our teaching assistants over the last year. They too have been on this 4-day course so they can deliver phonics lessons and or interventions right throughout the school as and when they're needed. This year phonics will continue daily in the infants side of things. And over the summer, Mrs. Kenner and Miss Jones have spent a lot of time working very hard to put together a programme for the Key Stage 2 teachers to follow, really focusing on embedding and securing those spelling rules for children in the upper years. If they still need some phonics interventions, they will take place alongside these sessions. Every morning is going to start with a hands-on spelling lesson using a range of different activities, following a set order to really embed those rules. We won't be returning to formal spelling tests per se, but we will be using our termly GL assessment, which will look at the words they need to have learnt for that year group. And as Mrs. Cunniff already said, Year 5 and 6 will also be working on some debating and entrepreneurship over this year as well. And Year 6 will still focus on the Young Tycoon project as in previous years this term. Another change is in the afternoons, whereas after lunch we used to have our enrichment slots. As Mrs. Cunniff said, we're embedding that more into our curriculum now, and our co-curricular clubs will lead towards that. And Mrs. McCrell will be talking more about that in the junior Playmer later on. Our assembly programme looks a little bit different. On a Friday morning, Mrs. Cunniff is going to be leading our achievement assembly. So please do keep sending in your child's achievements outside of school for us to celebrate as a community. We're going to be returning, finally, post-COVID, to our class assemblies. And there will be a schedule be sent out in the weekly newsletter. The first class assembly is going to be with Class 6A, Miss Price's class, and that's on the 15th of September. So all the assemblies will start at 8:45 and they'll be in the Infinite Junior School Hall. We'll get those dates out as soon as possible with which class is on which day. We're still going to be holding hymn practice and house meetings. You can see that on a bi-weekly basis. And because it's a longer session, the first part of that, Mrs. McCrell and I will lead a short assembly in line with our SMSC curriculum. So they're still going to have all those different themes each week, but in a more concise way. Next slide, please. So on Friday afternoon, you were all sent the overview of the co-curricular programme for the Infinite Junior School this year. And this must be, I think, the biggest one we've had in recent years. The amount of clubs, the variety of clubs we've got going on, both contractor and ones led by our own staff, is huge. And I'm really pleased with the way it looks. The bookings are going to open this evening on Evolve at 6 p.m. It's automatically set at 1800. Hopefully it will work. And there's always going to be some clubs that are more popular than others. They have a smaller intake, for example, swimming, and unfortunately it is first come, first served. So please make sure you have, I'll show in a moment where to get it, set up your child's account and Evolve, particularly if you're a new parent. When you have done this and completed your bookings, please make sure your children know what clubs they're doing and do they actually want to take part, as there are waiting lists for most clubs and it'd be really, really nice to get them set up before the beginning of term. If there are any clubs that do not meet the minimum number required to run them, unfortunately I will have to cancel them and I will communicate that with you as soon as possible. And likewise, if a place becomes available on a full club, I will go down the waiting list in order. If you are joining a club that's run by an external contractor, there in the green boxes on the screen there, please sign up on Evolve first so the register is accurate and then contact them directly using the information in the box. And please also make a note of any dates the club is not running on. There are a couple of dates that have been taken out already due to staff meeting, the sports tour, and of course the pantomime in November, which is very exciting. I'll endeavour to put weekly reminders out in the newsletter, but all the dates are as accurate as they can be in Evolve. And finally, Extended Day and Breakfast Club will also start from the first day of term, and bookings again will open this evening at 6 o'clock for that. Any queries can go directly to Mrs. Basham regarding Extended Day or Mrs. Baxter for Breakfast Club. If you're not sure of how to contact them, please just contact Junior School Reception. They will get in touch with them for you. Mr. Lewin, as you can see, there is also running some training sessions after school. So on a Tuesday, we've got netball and we've got hockey for years 5 and 6, netball for 3 to 6. On a Wednesday, we've got football or hockey, depending on the space available, for years 3 and 4. And on a Thursday, we've got some football for years 5 and 6. And then a free-for-all on Saturday morning for years 3 to 6 if you wish to send your child along to that as well. So extra training sessions ready for the term of sports ahead. Please remember that anyone taking part in football and hockey this term must have shin pads, and if you're playing hockey you must have a gum shield. Health and safety dictates we can't allow your children to play without these pieces of equipment. So on the next slide, Mrs. Cunniff, is just a reminder of how to access Evolve via the parent portal. So there is a tab at the top there, and when you click on Evolve, you'll see the drop-down box says co-curricular activities, extended day breakfast club. When you click on co-curricular activities, next slide please, it will go to this page here. If you are a new parent, you need to sign up here with your email address and password. We can't do that for you. That's your email address you've signed up with the school with, and then you'll get access to that at 6 o'clock this evening. I think that's it.
Thank you very much. That's a lot of information there, isn't there?
Sorry.
So if you are a new parent especially,
Yeah.
this is quite a lot of information, but this is recorded. It will be on Facebook and we put it on YouTube as well. So you can play it back and have a look at that as well. But if you do have any queries, then we are available all day if you want to email in or call in if you're having any problems. And certainly we're going to keep the children busy, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
And talking about keeping the children busy, we have Miss Clark on the call. Miss Clark, tell us all about performing arts moving forwards.
And welcome back to what I'm sure is going to be a very busy term. So we have a number of junior school co-curricular clubs running. We continue with our elite dance club for year 5 and 6, which is run by Mrs. Gurney on a Monday evening. Now that is invite only, so we will send that out to parents and that'll go on Evolve on Friday evening. But we have 2 brand new clubs run by myself, and that is for year 1 and 2 and year 3 and 4, which I missed off of that spreadsheet that Mrs. Izod just showed to everybody. But it will be on Evolve. So those are brand new TAP clubs. Because we had such success with our modern exam results in the summer term, we decided to introduce some TAP dance. So don't worry if anyone hasn't had any TAP experience before. We'll be starting with the basics, but we'll be working towards primary TAP for years 1 and 2 and grade 1 TAP for years 3 and 4. Both of those will take place on a Wednesday, and I'll add all of those details to Evolve. And we have our junior school choir, which was very successful in our performances in President's Day and Celebration Day at the end of last term. So that continues to run, and that will run on a Thursday lunchtime with Miss Price and Mr. Matthews. We've got very exciting opportunities coming up for them. We've got some competitions coming up, as well as a Denham Homes performance, and we've got our Christmas showcase, which we're very much looking forward to, which is going to take place at the end of this term. Now that's going to give all students the opportunity to take part in either a class performance or a performance with one of their clubs, be it the choir or maybe their dance clubs. We're working towards that, starting not too soon because no one wants to start rehearsing Christmas songs just at the moment whilst the sun's still out, but we'll be starting very soon working towards that, and we hope that'll be a great end to the term. Obviously the junior school years 1 reception through to year 2 will have their nativity performance as well. So lots of performance opportunities. As well, we have our Young Singer of the Year competition that takes place internally for years 3 through to years 13, and we have our Young Musician competition. Young Dancer and Young Actor take place next term, but they're all back this year. So we've got plenty of things to look forward to. All of our dance carries on as our part of our curriculum, as does performing arts for year 5 and 6. So lots of exciting opportunities, and we're planning a theatre trip as well. I know there's the Panto trip at the end of term for everybody, but we are planning some individual year group trips to see different musicals, either in Woking, Windsor, or maybe even the West End.
That's fantastic. But you know, now you've mentioned Christmas tunes. I mean, we're all going to start hearing those now from today, but that's only a good thing. And just to mention about the showcase, we're not having a Christmas service this year, but we're running the Christmas showcase in the last week of term on 2 nights, Monday night and Tuesday night, and it's going to be showcasing right across the school. So a wonderful opportunity for parents to come in and share Christmas with us on 2 nights in a row. It will be lovely, won't it? So, and that's at Christmas. And you had outstanding success in your dance exams, didn't you? Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so it's the first time LVS have taken part in these ISTD, which stands for the Imperial Society of Teachers of Dance. And we introduced dance to the curriculum last September, with students learning all the way through from reception to year 6 and working towards learning different exam syllabus. So we've had primary, grade 1 and grade 2 exams, and the students that were ready took those at the end of term. And they were outstanding results. So thrilled. We had passes all the way through to high distinctions, with students receiving 90 marks out of 100. So absolutely fantastic for students who are so new to this syllabus, many who've not danced before as well. And we had over 50 students taking part in those exams, mostly junior school, with a few year sevens taking part in one of their clubs as well. So brilliant. And we're so thrilled with all of those. We've added in the TAP this year, and hope we get similar results with TAP. And actually, talking of exam results, I should mention we had brilliant Lambda results as well as ABRSM exam results. And I haven't heard from all of the peripatetic staff about their exams, but I know there were other singing exams that took place, and I'm sure they did brilliantly. So if anyone is looking for singing or musical instrument lessons or Lambda lessons, then they can still get in touch with me, and I can pass on the details of all of those teachers.
That's absolutely outstanding success. Really well done. There's nothing like being able to dance, even if you can't dance. It's brilliant. And to sing. Yeah, it is. Trying. So we have a stunning performing arts department. Jess, there's a question here from a new parent, Michelle Bell. Said, I'm a new parent with a super keen singer. Is the choir something that needs to be signing up via Evolve? Or is it a more loosely sort of arrangement, that one?
Choir's a little bit looser, I think, because it happens at a lunchtime. So she can just pop along and speak to Miss Price or Mr. Matthews, both year 6 teachers, and they can make sure that she comes to the right place at the right time. Brilliant.
And another new parent, so welcome, Mr. Breen. Are you a past pupil by any chance?
He is.
Is the parent portal the same as Evolve? How do we get an access code to register? Who can answer that one?
You should have been given information of access to the parent portal from admissions. Once you're in the parent portal, the tab links you to Evolve, and that's where you get all the co-curricular information from.
If you have any problems, again, please email in, contact us, and we can make sure that you're accessing the portal, which is so important because it has all our calendar dates, all the school reports will be on there, everything that you need to know as a parent. Thank you, Mrs. Clark, and we welcome Mr. Jonathan Hill, who is our Director of Sport. Are you there, Mr. Hill?
I am here. I'm just in a meeting. Thank you. Good morning. Hi.
Yes.
Thank you. Just to welcome myself to you all. My name's Jonathan Hill. I'm on maternity cover for Emma Pierce. I'm delighted to be here. Very impressed with the school. And the staff have been made to feel really welcome. I've been in education since 1996, progressing from PE, head of boys, head of PE to assistant head, but at the same time, I've been in elite sport after being a professional footballer. I've travelled around the world in various roles, and the last years I've been over in Norway and again, working in professional elite football, but obviously involved in education in the Norwegian system. So I'm delighted to be here. I'm really delighted to welcome new staff to the department. We have 3 ex-pupils who have had new roles within the department, Will Pyle and Harriet Rawson as PGCE students, and James Hazard as the sports technician. Connor Boyd is the new head of rugby, and Emily Tyler as a new head of hockey. So I'm getting used to the school, been here now for the last week. So very excited to meet parents and the students and giving your children the best possible sporting experience, both within the curricula and the co-curricular provision of sports that we will have available for them. Any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or members of the PE department.
It's fantastic. And there's going to be young children starting school where some of these sports are going to be brand new to them as well.
Fantastic.
What's the advice you'd give them?
Embrace everything. I'm a father of 3 daughters, all very totally different. So just get involved. It's about making new friends, having new experiences. Some of the children will excel when they're older to elite sports, men and women, as long as they get an interest in sport and they see the benefits socially, physically, and for health. Just enjoy and experience. If you're great. If you're not, All I want all the children to do is have a nice experience, try the best, and let us help.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. I know this is all brand new for you, isn't it? Jumping on a Zoom call like this.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So we're out of our comfort zones, but that's what we do at LVS.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
See you later. Thank you very much.
Bye. And so from the fun of co-curricular, we do move on to the serious stuff.
I like how I get the serious stuff.
Yeah, you get the serious stuff. And this is, and a lot of this has actually been in the news over the summer as well. So this is where we need to consult with you as parents as well. And any issues that you have at all, then please do contact us. And there will be a form going out this afternoon.
There will, yes.
So over to you, Mrs. McCrell.
So yeah, I'm just going to mention about the relationships and sex education and the personal, social and health education. So that's the RSE and the PSHE curriculum areas that we're going to be looking at this year. It has been in the news a lot. Happily, we are going to continue to follow the KAPOW scheme of work, both for PSHE and for RSE. And it's really good to know that everything's going to be covered in a child-friendly, age-appropriate way. All our statutory material is there. The teachers really enjoy using the resources and delivering the material. And the children are fully engaged in the lessons. They're really interesting. Get a bit of debate going, so it ties into our debate and our entrepreneurship. But really the aims of RSHE and PSHE here at LVS Ascot are to provide a framework where really sensitive discussions can take place, prepare our pupils for puberty and give them an understanding of sexual development and the importance of health and hygiene. We're going to help them develop feelings of self-respect, self-confidence and empathy, which tie in so well with all our values. We need a really positive culture around issues of sexuality and relationships. We give them the correct vocabulary to describe themselves and their bodies, help them live a healthy and happy life, one of our major aims, and feel secure in the relationships they develop. Teach them the knowledge they need to recognise and to report abuse. That's emotional, physical, sexual, could be anything. And also teach them about the principles of positive relationships, and most importantly these days, that all applies online as well. So you can see on the slide that I've got up on the screen, this is the EYFS areas of the curriculum. And we've still got all our 6 areas that each year group will follow, kind of in a cyclical way. So the same areas are covered every single year, but they build on the knowledge that the children have gained. So we've got lots of self-regulation, lots of understanding about building relationships, what relationships should look like, about families and friends and about what being a good friend is. Lots of information for EYFS. And if we look on the next slide, this is the year 1 and year 2 areas. Now each year it builds up, again looking at the same areas of learning, but building on the knowledge that the children have gained, because with their maturity develops a better understanding of what we're talking about, and they are able to contribute more. On the next slide we've got year 1's RSE for the year. So very simple, acceptable and unacceptable physical contact, the differences between girls' and boys' bodies, scientific names for body parts, because that is so important for if they are speaking to an adult about something that's not right. And all lessons are taught using the correct scientific vocabulary. They're also taught by the class teacher who knows those children really, really well, and hopefully with whom they're going to feel really comfortable. The next one's year 2. So again, it builds up a little bit. It gets a little bit more mature. They're going to be learning about boys' and girls' bodies. The scientific names, again, for the body parts, recapping on their year 1 understanding. And understanding that their private parts are private. We use the NSPC Panthosaurus, I can never say that, Panthosaurus, there we go. The Panthosaurus system of programmes which the children love. They'll be coming home singing the songs, I think, and driving you mad. On the next slide we've got year 3 and year 4, again building up as the children get older. hopefully getting some really good debates going, sharing their feelings, having the opportunities to speak to their teachers. We also have boxes in every classroom, so if there's something that the children are worried about or a question that they want to ask but not in front of everybody else, they can write it down, they can pop it in the box, and the teachers will be checking those very regularly and answering those questions. Year 3 don't actually have specific RSE, it's more about online relationships, but the Year 4 curriculum has got a little bit of a jump there. So we get more mature diagrams. So we're looking at the human body in more of a realistic sense. And the children in Year 4 are going to be learning about some of the physical changes that bodies will experience as they go through puberty. They're going to be understanding that physical change is part of growing up, that it's normal, it happens to everybody. It might happen in different ways or at different times, but that's okay. And they're going to be identifying the changes that males and females go through as they develop from being a child going through to becoming an adult. Years 5 and 6, again, Year 6 has a little bit of an extra unit put into their curriculum, all about identity. Now that's nothing major, it's about body image and about being happy with the person you are. It touches on different identities that people they meet out and about might identify as, and it's about understanding and building that tolerance and that respect for other people. In Year 5, they go on to specific information about puberty and human reproduction. So they're going to look at the menstrual cycle, have a really good understanding of that, and any other changes that happen during puberty. And emotional changes as well, because it's not all about physical change, what's happening to your body. There are a lot of emotional changes that the children might not be prepared for. So it's about talking about all the possibilities and knowing that that's really, really normal and that there are people to talk to if they're worried at all. In Year 6, they are going to look at developing their understanding of the physical and emotional changes. They're going to learn about the biology of conception. Now, this one particularly, the revised Department for Education statutory guidance from summer 2021 states that parents still do have the right to withdraw pupils from a couple of these lessons in Year 6. Now, it's part of the lesson about conception, and it's the entire lesson to do with birth. Now, obviously, that is a parental right. We would urge parents not to withdraw their children. Obviously, we will take any opinions and views into account, but they are going to hear about these things eventually, and we would rather your children have the scientific knowledge, the biology of what's going to be happening. And actually, a lot of this is going to be taught in science lessons because it is science curriculum. But we would urge you to have it properly, with the proper vocabulary, rather than hear about it in the playground later. So if you've got any concerns at all about any of the curriculum that we're going to be delivering this year, please do get in touch with us. Obviously, I can share the materials that the children are going to be learning with you, so you can put your mind at rest and understand exactly what questions might be coming home after the lessons. But come and talk to us and we will go through any concerns that you have. Whew. Oh, there's a lot to get through.
There is. And I think before we go on to the next part, is that we do understand how difficult it is for parents, especially if this is your first child or children coming through the school, you're going to be having some quite difficult conversations. Okay, so if you need any help with that, you know where we are. And we understand that everybody's different, everybody has different views about this. There are things that, as Mrs. McCrell's just said, that are regulatory, and those are things that we don't have to teach. It all depends on what the circumstances are, what the situation is as well. Well, what we are here to do is support every single child and parents through tricky development times in their life, and make sure that our children feel safe and happy, and that you as parents feel supported as well. It's so important, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we've also got the Wellbeing Hub as well, which has got so much help and advice about all those really tricky areas that children will go through at different times.
I think also, and we're not covering it today, we're not really addressing online safety. There'll probably be a little bit more of that either tomorrow in the senior school perspectives or in the next coming weeks. We're going to try and do these sessions most weeks if we can. But parents need to just be aware of online safety as well, about what children can access. parental controls the whole thing, because it's better it comes through the curriculum than finding out any other way. Okay.
Definitely.
Shall I move on?
Sure.
Enough of that. But we do have to consult you. So you're going to get a document out, and we need your feedback to say that we have consulted with you over this, and that we're here if you want any questions answered.
Right. So the next bit I'm going to talk about is all about the junior diploma. Now, we've had lots of confusion, I suppose is the wrong word, but we've had lots and lots of questions about this over the last couple of years. So we have rejigged it slightly to be a little bit easier to understand, and hopefully a little bit more valuable for the children to be learning about and to be studying. So the junior diploma is something that is entirely unique. Can I move it on? Thank you. Is entirely unique to LVS Ascot Infant and Junior School. And they are all going to work towards this diploma throughout their time with us. The idea of this is we want to build character and develop key life skills. Every school in the country has to teach English and maths and science and everything else. We want to give our children something a little bit extra. So it's about the learning values and skills and showing what those look like in real life. We're about turning out well-rounded, good citizens that can really contribute to life outside of school. Now, some of those achievements are going to be met through co-curricular clubs and lessons, but it's also expected that the children will work towards completing it outside of school as well. So there's Eric the Bear, who was named last year by Matthew, who won the competition to give him a good name using all the initials of the learning values and skills. So the 5 pairs that we've got are curiosity and creativity, initiative and independence, collaboration and self-confidence, risk-taking and resilience, and empathy and reflection. And they all tie in so well. I'm so hopeful for the round square because it is absolutely seamless, the link between them. Now, the key to achieving the diploma is to show what all of these learning values and skills look like in real life. So, this year, if a child demonstrates a learning value and skill, they're going to detail it in what we are going to give them called their diploma record book. Now, it can be signed off by a parent at home, it can be signed off by a sports coach, it can be signed off by their class teacher or another teacher from the school. So the children are going to have to make sure that they've got that diploma record book with them handy so that we can spot all the excellent work they're doing and sign off their skills. Now, it could be in school, it could be outside of school, but the children are going to have to detail and explain what they've done and why it was valuable before those adults will sign their skill off. Now, these posters on the right-hand side will be up in school, hopefully in every classroom, and every single record book will also have a copy of those. And it's basically some ideas. It is not by any means an exhaustive list, but it gives you some ideas of how the children could possibly demonstrate that learning value and skill. For example, the initiative one talks about offering to do a job in the classroom without waiting to be asked. That's using your initiative. That's fantastic. And the class teacher would be more than happy to sign that off in their record book for them. The form tutors will also keep a record, just like they have this year, of the learning values and skills that have been shown by the whole class. So any trips that the class goes on, any performances that they are all involved with, that is going to be detailed on a form that looks a bit like that, and it's kept in the classroom in their lever arch file that will be referenced at the end of the year for year 6 when we're looking at who's achieved the diploma or not. Basically, come and see me if you've got any questions at all. We will be sending this little booklet out with all the information so you can reference that at home as well. And like I say, that information is also going to be in the front of their record book that they can have their skills signed off with.
It's very exciting, isn't it?
It's fabulous,
Yeah.
and they really, really enjoy it. I think it's something extra that we give that nobody else has.
The obvious advantage.
Absolutely.
And I think
their
some
badges with pride as well. They love
They do.
receiving those badges.
And I think sometimes children automatically do these things and don't realise how they're contributing and how they're building up that portfolio of skills as well. So no, it's really good, and we're very excited about it as well. I've had a question from a new parent come through by email, and I hope we can answer both of these. I think we can. Swimming lessons. No, you don't have to pay for swimming lessons. They are part of your school fees. They are part of our co-curricular programme that you don't have to pay for, which is brilliant.
It is.
And we're actually looking at the stats that we have for the children who can swim. Because, you know, there's a government guideline that you should be able to swim in 25 metres by the time you're 11. Our children exceed that. They absolutely
massively.
smash it, don't
Absolutely.
they?
I think most do it of end key stage 1.
They do,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's great to see, because I think swimming is probably one of the greatest life skills that we have in life.
Vital.
Absolutely vital. So
And
absolutely
swimming
wonderful.
lessons are an extra. They will all swim during the school week as part of the timetable. So if you don't get a place on the extracurricular session, don't worry, they will still be learning to swim every single week.
And the other one was about girls' football. Do girls play football, don't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
get a choice.
absolutely.
From last year we started that. So
Yeah.
at the beginning of
Yeah.
the term, they'll be asked to choose one of the 2 sports they can focus on throughout that term. So hockey or football.
Yeah. And I don't think we've got any other slides, but just a couple of things that we probably would just a general debate as well. And that's just about young children in general. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put everybody on the spot. Reading.
Yes.
How important is it?
Oh, the key.
It's the most important thing they can do.
The key.
So how are we going to do it?
They've got to be reading every day, anything and everything, leaflets, posters, magazines, comic books. It doesn't matter what they're reading. It's that what we need is that love of literature and love of reading. They want to pick a book, not, oh, I've got to read today.
Yeah.
It is part of every single child's prep every single night. So if children are coming home going, I've got nothing to do tonight. No, I'm afraid that's not quite
don't
true,
buy
is
that
it? You know, the older ones can read by themselves. That's fine. They don't have to read out loud to an adult, although it is quite useful. I still hear my 11-year-old read out loud sometimes just to check that she's doing it right, not skipping half of it out. But we are going to be detailing that in their reading diaries, and they will be heard in school as well by
That's
the
fantastic.
adults.
Again, wonderful skill. You learn so much by it as
You
well.
do.
And going back to the spelling, we had inset, I was going to say earlier in the week, but it's only Monday,
Right.
so it was last week.
Yeah.
And led by
Mrs. Kennan,
Mrs. Kennan.
Miss Jones.
Yeah, and I was absolutely intrigued by the approach that we're going to be taking, marking the consonants and the vowels. Now, I was never taught like that in
No.
school.
No, we weren't.
And I really wish we had, because, you know, obviously we still make those fundamental errors with spelling when you double letters in some words and don't double in the other. And it's so logical, isn't it?
It makes so much sense when
Yeah.
you go at it from that
Yeah,
view.
absolutely. So, you know, hopefully we're
We
going
learned a few tricks, didn't we?
We
And a
certainly
few
did.
games.
Oh,
It's going to be good.
It's going to be very good as well. And also looking at functional skills in maths as well. Talking about maths even at home. So, for example, if you're in the supermarket, is a deal a deal? You know, I often used to send my children off and go, well, that washing powder there says this, but is it a deal? Go and find out. I mean, do your children do things like that? Like
I'm
weighing
afraid so.
things
My
and-
husband makes my daughter work out, you know, the price of every single rasher in a pack. You know, he's one of those people. So
Yeah.
yes, we have to work it all out because children don't really use money anymore.
No.
You know, they see us zap cards on things, but they don't actually have to physically handle the money. So talking about that and the value of things and working out, you know, price per washing tab
Yeah.
is really important. It's stuff that they don't naturally do.
I was having that conversation with my daughter as she's off to university and showing her how, like you say, how to look at deals. And is that, or that toilet roll looks like it's cheaper than this one, but actually look at the cost per sheet. There's a little number down there, and you can look and get the best deal you can.
Also, it works very well because if you're in a supermarket and you want to lose them for a couple of minutes while you're in the wine section, you say, "Can you go away and find me a really good deal in the fruit counter?"
And cooking as well. We had a maths few days at the end of last year where every single class in the school did a whole cooking session and made amazing things to take home. I've got quite a few left on my desk I was very pleased about. But cooking and weighing things out and working out, you know, if we're making it for 4 people, what would we do if we were going to make it for 8 people?
Yeah.
It is absolutely vital real life skills.
It is.
That's the trick, is making the maths real.
Yeah.
Putting it into real life context, making that shop in your playroom with the price tags and all the children's toys and getting them to add up the coins and get the change. That's what makes it
It's fantastic.
really securing the child.
And keeping them talking and thinking as well. So over dinner, having those conversations. So because we're bringing back debating into the curriculum. So on you will see from the timetable, coming up with key national topics or things that you know will inspire the children, and having those conversations over dinner.
They've got
As long
very
Keep you on
different
top
views
of
to
current
us.
affairs.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
As long as it doesn't get too heated. I know
No.
what my household can be like sometimes.
Politics and religion.
Oh no, stay away from
Stay
either of
away.
those. But you know, talking and debating and having that time together makes a lot of difference, doesn't it? And that's how
Really
we can
does.
support our children and what goes on in the curriculum. And so on to bedtime. Sleep is so important, isn't it?
Yes.
None of us can survive on a lack of sleep. So our advice is let those brains rest and grow. I think that someone said you grow while you're asleep.
It connects all the neurons,
neurons.
makes all the connections
Yeah.
when you're sleeping.
So it's so important, isn't
And
it?
move stuff from short-term memory into long-term memory
Yeah.
as well while you're asleep.
Fantastic, isn't it? We'll have to get someone in. We had a sleep specialist come in, and maybe we'll bring them in again and do one of these
that would be
I
sessions.
think a lot of children got out of the habit in COVID times because they weren't having to do the whole commuting to school and back and forth, and some of them have not quite got back into the normal healthy sleeping routine.
So talk about routines and possible anxiety coming back to school, because today's the 4th. Obviously the children, the whole school doesn't come back till the 7th. Children and probably parents are going to start feeling a little bit anxious.
Definitely.
Right. Piece of advice from you, Mrs. McCrell. Mrs. Eisel, straight away.
Trust us. We know what we're doing. We've done this many, many times before, and we're both parents as well, and been on your side of the table, as it were.
We've
We
been there.
understand the feelings. It's tricky. We know what we're doing, and your children will be fine. And if they're not, we will let you know.
Mrs. McCrell?
I can't add anything to that, can I?
But I
I
think-
mean, we have got such amazing facilities here. We've got our Elsa, our fully trained Elsa. We've got Cindy. We've got our wellbeing hub. Like Mrs. Izod says, you know, your children are in very, very good hands, and we love them lots. And we want them to be in school learning, which is the most important thing. So bring them to us, and we will look after them.
And I think, now's the time to get back into routine. If you haven't done it already, back to bed early tonight, so that we, because it was hard getting up this morning, wasn't it? So, getting back for all of us, getting back to routines, and, and we are going to be very strict this year. So with uniform, for example, we're going to be very strict.
Yeah.
We want the children lining up in the playground before they come into school in the morning, rather than just walk into the building. We're going to really set the standards high academically and pastorally, and the wellbeing as well. But we're here to look after the children. There's no reason for them to be anxious, although it is normal to feel slightly anxious. It's like starting a new job, isn't it? Yeah. And if you're
I get it
anxious,
every year, never mind if it's a new job or
Every
not.
single school year.
yeah, absolutely. And I think the main thing is, don't sit on a problem.
No.
Always share it, because sometimes you might think something's a really big problem. We can put your mind at rest so quickly. And as they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. And maybe it might even go away.
And likewise, if it's something you think is very small, you might think it's small, but we know the impact of that on the children, and it can be a bigger impact on the child. So please, small changes in their life to them can be huge. So please let us know.
Because I think when we're at school's everything, isn't it? That's all you can think about at school. You haven't got any other diversions in your life, have you? So it's all there, isn't it? And it needs to be a happy place, and that's what we pride ourselves on. So if something's going wrong, then please let us know. We've got a question here.
Yes.
Can you just clarify what you class as charcoal? Is it dark grey? If you look on the School Blazer website, and I know we do encourage you to either go there or have a look elsewhere. Look, I've got 2 boys, right? They've been through LVS, and quite often I had a mad dash to the supermarket when they had been playing football. I quite understand. It is earing towards the dark grey. It's not black, but it's not the light grey. If in doubt, come back to us. I'm not very good on, I nearly said something then, on shades of grey, but... sorry, that's totally inappropriate. It's a bit like your joke before we started, Mrs. Eisel. But it is a dark grey. It's not black. Okay, so if you have any other questions, I'm just going to quickly see if anything else is coming through on my email. No, I think we're all done. But if you need us at any time, you've got my email, you've got all our emails.
Yeah.
We're here for you at any time. And I think we're done.
I think
So we're looking forward to seeing you. Lovely to meet you.
Thursday.
Bye.
Thursday morning. Bye.